This is Calm AF, a podcast for humans who are hard on themselves. A podcast for the overthinkers, people pleasers, perfectionists, and overachievers. I'm Kristen Finch, and I'm going to teach you how to quiet that incessant negative chatter in your head. Because you know what a person with a calm mind can do? Anything they want. Grab your coffee, gorgeous soul, because today's the day you get Calm AF. Hello, gorgeous soul. Welcome to Calm AF. I'm excited to spend a little chunk of time with you today. Something you might not know about me. I've never really talked about this before. It's a weird thing about me, but one of my favorite things to do when I'm spending time with people is just to integrate myself into their normal everyday life. So if I go and visit friends or want to hang out with someone, I'm always like, do you have any errands you want? Do you need to go to the grocery store? Should we go to Target? Do you need to run any errands? I don't know why. I just really like being a part of people's just everyday normal life. Because in my opinion, it's those ordinary moments that really matter the most, which I feel like I want to talk about in depth on another episode. But I know a lot of you listening you're just doing your regular, everyday, normal stuff right now while you're listening, right? You're running errands, you're dropping kids off at school. Maybe you're doing the dishes, putting the food away from the grocery store. And I even know that some of you listen while you're in the shower. So, it's intimate, isn't it? But it's fun for me. It is really fun to think about the thousands of people every week that I get to just be part of their everyday normal life. It means a lot to me. So thank you for being here. Before we get into today's episode, I want to share a message that I got from a member of the Calm AF Life program because it just meant the world to me when I got it. And I think I know a lot of people, if you don't know what Calm AF Life is, that means this is the first time you've ever listened to this podcast because I talk about it incessantly because I happen to think it's the greatest program in the history of the world. I love it so much. And last week we had a week off because I had spring break. I took the week off, spent it with my kids and my husband, had a great time. But I really, really missed connecting. It felt weird because we connect a lot in the group. I am on the community page regularly, a lot every day, talking with, the clients, coaching or answering questions, setting intentions, that sort of thing. And then we talk, we have calls 2 to 3 times a week. Some of them are just, talking about the podcast episode for that week. Coaching calls, we have workshops. Next week, I'm teaching my time blocking tool. So we're together a lot. So it was weird to be off last week. I was ready to get back. Also, I missed my clients, my one-on-one clients. I still do have some one-on-one clients. I missed them a lot too. It was just strange. It's a really good feeling. I don't think you have to like your job. I don't think you have to love your job. But when you do, it's really cool. This does not feel like a job to me. I work really hard, but it feels like what I'm meant to do. It feels like why I'm here. So anyway, here is the message that I wanted to share with you. This woman wrote in and she told me, I just have to tell you that I was freaked out about joining this program. It's more than I've ever spent on something that was just for me. But I feel like I got my money's worth in the first 24 hours. I can't believe I get to do this forever. And I don't even get to join most of the calls live. I just listen to the recordings and it's like having 3 Calm AF podcast episodes every week. Thank you for this generous program. I've already made more changes that have stuck in just 3 months than I have in more than a decade. I can't wait to see how calm I am a year from now. I can't wait either. It is blowing my mind, the transformations that have happened already. The people who are just yep, I'm just Calm AF now, working their way towards their goals, just regulating their nervous system, setting boundaries. It has been the most fun and magical thing for me to be a part of. So I decided just because I can, that we're going to have a little spring sale for the program. We are going to be offering the program with 25% off. So if you go to KristenFinch.com, you can look at more of the details about what all is included in the program. It's a ton, FYI. And then when you go to the checkout page, you will just enter, there'll be a little coupon code box, and in that you enter Spring AF. That will give you 25% off. That applies to either the pay in full, which is honestly my favorite way, just get it done. But we also have the payment plan, 25% off for that also. So now's the time. Like if you've been on the fence, if you've been wondering if this is right for you because maybe you've worked with me before and you're like, maybe this isn't what I need. It totally is. Or maybe this is the first time you've heard of me, but you're like, it feels like a yes. It's for you too. I definitely have created this program so that anyone at any level can come in and benefit immediately from the group. So Spring AF is the coupon code. And I would just love to get to know you in real life. I would love to get to coach you and just to be walking next to you as you become your future self. It's my favorite thing in the world. If you have questions, please don't hesitate to send me a DM. I would do Instagram. I try and check that regularly. My handle over there is at KristenFinch10. There's no spaces. It's the number 10, not written 10. Kristen Finch, the number 10. Or you can email me and ask me if you have questions. But it's fun. 25% off. That's not nothing, my friends. All right, let's get on to the episode. So last week, I shared with you the main reasons why you are not doing the things you know you should, and I'm using air quotes, the things you should be doing, why you aren't following through on new habits, why you keep ending up back in old patterns. So I will just quickly recap what we talked about last week. First, you think you aren't going to feel better until you achieve the full transformation. Like there is only hard work during the journey from where you are now to where you want to be, which sounds terrible, right? Of course you don't want to do the things you should be doing. If it's going to just be like punishing and hard all the time, yuck. The second reason, you want instant gratification, right? If you're struggling in some area of your life, you don't want to have to wait until you establish new habits. You want to feel better now, so you turn to instant gratification. And the third thing was that you think there's a right or a wrong way to do the things you know you should be doing, right? Like I can't just take a 10-minute walk. I have to walk 10,000 steps. I can't just do 3 deep breaths. I need to get into a meditative state for 20 minutes at least. These things are bullshit. If you want to change something, if you want to change your behaviors and your habits, but you keep trying to go about it in the same way, punishing yourself the whole way, numbing out to relieve the pain, procrastinating, starting anything because you're afraid you're going to fail again, you will definitely keep ending back where you started. Your current self, who you are today, your current life, the life you are living today, your current reality is a direct result of your past habits. And your future self, your future life is currently being created, being manifested by your current habits. So, if you want your future self life to look different than how it feels right now, it's all about the daily habits you are creating now, like right now, today. The decisions, the choices, the behaviors you are making today are either moving you towards something new, towards what you want, or keeping you where you are. So we are going to be spending quite a bit of time here on the podcast and in the program on habits. It's one of my favorite topics to talk about, not only because it is really about we can get real sciencey here. I love getting sciencey. I like to geek out here, but also because this is what creates your future self life. This is what creates a Calm AF life. It's about the daily habits, the things you're doing on a daily basis that are compounding on themselves to create something new. So we're going to talk about habits differently though, right? We're not going to talk about it maybe the same way you've learned it or you've approached it in the past. We're going to approach your future self habits from a different perspective, the Calm AF perspective. Okay, so let's just dive right in. First off, I'm going to tell you the fastest and easiest way for you to manifest the life you want. Let me rephrase easiest, because changing your life, transforming, rewiring your neural connections isn't easy, but it can be more easeful. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to share with you the fastest and most easeful way of manifesting the life you want. It's by doing it slow and steady. Did you hear that? Let me say it again. Slow and steady equals fast and easeful. And here's why. When you try to make changes too fast, you are not giving your identity a chance to catch up, right? If you identify as a person who has a lot of clutter, who reaccumulates clutter, who tries to get rid of it, but somehow it always ends up back in the house again, like a couple weeks or months later, and then you try to change that, like you try to just overnight become a person who has no clutter, it's not going to last. It's going to be temporary because you aren't taking the time to become the person who doesn't reaccumulate clutter. You're not becoming that version of yourself. It's the same thing when people who dramatically change their bodies very, very quickly, like they either lose weight really quickly, whatever, they almost always gain it back. And it's because they haven't learned the daily habits. They haven't learned the identity of a person in a different sized body. They move too fast. It's the same thing with lottery winners. Like the reason why lottery winners always lose all their money is because they got it so quickly that they didn't have a chance. Their identity didn't have a chance to catch up with this new reality. You have to let yourself take the time it takes to become this new version of yourself. You have to figure out the daily habits of a person who doesn't reaccumulate clutter, who doesn't struggle with clutter at all. You have to figure out the daily habits of a person who lives in a different size body every day, that's not something they're struggling with anymore. It's just who they are. And then you have to start incorporating them into your current life, slow and steady. Your current daily habits will be the stronger neural connection, right? When you first start learning new habits and incorporating them into your life, those older habits are a stronger neural pathway. So your brain is going to actively attempt to get you to go back to them. This is why we do it, right? It's not because your brain is an asshole or you need more willpower or you need more courage. It's because your brain is a super efficient machine that is always trying to take the path of least resistance. The one that is the strongest connection, the one that has the neural connection that has had the most repetition. Okay? Every month in Calm AF Life, we do a future self workshop. So we revisit our future self goals. We do a visualization that helps everyone reconnect with that future self life, like who we are becoming, how we want our life to feel. And the thing that we do is we don't go to this place of like, and I'm vacationing in Bali every week and I've got a Ferrari. Like we just drop in on an ordinary day in our future self's life. And the reason we do this every single month is not so that we can try and like muster up a little more motivation. Although that often is the result. We often leave those calls feeling like a renewed sense of like connection to what we want and why we want it. But that's not the reason why we do it. The reason why we do it is so that every single time we reconnect with our future self and we go and visualize what that life looks like, we are getting to know more deeply the day-to-day habits of our future self, the routines that our future self has that are different than the ones we have right now. So your future self doesn't struggle with reaccumulating clutter. Why not? What habits does she have in place so that just doesn't happen anymore? It's not even a thing, right? My future self doesn't feel dysregulated or anxious or overwhelmed all day. Once in a while, of course, but mostly my future self's days feel calm and light, okay? My future self isn't becoming a regulated person. My future self is a regulated person. Why? What are the habits that my future self is putting into her days that have created this? That is how you start learning what your new habits will be, by knowing what your future self days feel like. Now listen, as you do this little exercise, you are going to want to look at every single difference, right? You're going to be like, everything is different. Every single habit that I have now is gone, and there's a million new habits. My future self, she declutters for an hour every day. She reads a book every night. She wakes up and she doesn't turn on her phone. Instead, she journals and she meditates and she exercises and drinks her lemon water or whatever right now the current trend in like a good morning routine is, right? You're going to want to do that. And you're going to resist that urge. You're going to breathe and you're going to bring yourself back to slow and steady, reminding yourself that slow and steady equals faster and easeful. Okay? You're going to pick one new habit. One. Doesn't matter which one. Truly doesn't matter. You'll get to all of them. Okay? I promise. I actually suggest when you're thinking about where to start with creating new habits, it's to pick the one that feels the easiest to incorporate into your life right now. The one that feels the most doable, the one that maybe you're already kind of doing, you can really put your focus in on it. And the reason why is so that you get some experience and some wins under your belt, so that when you move on to more challenging changes, you have proof that yes, you can create and stick to new daily habits. You can rewire your old patterns. Also, think about it this way. If you're trying to go into and create your future self life very quickly by changing all your habits at once. This is a weird example, but it's the one that popped in my head, so we're going to go with it. Let's say you have 3 babies with dirty diapers. They all need their diapers changed right now. Can you change all 3 at the same time? I mean, yeah, you can. Like you can have them all laying there and have your, you can hope that nothing happens and it's just easy. But doesn't it make sense to just focus on one baby at a time, one diaper at a time? Think about that. Like it's just, your focus is just on one. You finish that, you move to the next one. You finish that, you move to the next one. Okay? Attempting to rewire 3 new habits at once is going to require you split your attention between 3 things, which means that each of those habits gets 33% of your attention, like 33% of the time. Or if you just pick one and you focus in and you work on creating that neural connection, your one habit gets 100% of your focus. Okay, so you're just going to pick one. Just do it. Just trust me. My next suggestion, now that you've picked one, is to take that one new habit and break it down into the easiest possible, most doable habit. Okay, so maybe you really love how free your future self days feel because of that uncluttered house. Like you just imagine at night, like everyone goes to bed, you're done with everything for the day, and you can just go and sit on the couch. You're not having to fight with the chatter that's coming from the clutter piles. You just walk over to the couch, you put your feet up, and you rest, guilt-free. And maybe that's where you want to start. That's the habit, right? Like it has to do with decluttering. In order to create that, you obviously need a daily decluttering habit. Since we know that all or nothing leads to reaccumulation, right? We're going to do it slow and steady. Now, your mind is going to want to hurry you up. All right, well, if I want to do this every day, and I want to hurry up and get to the end result, I'm going to do an hour a day. Friend, no, you won't. It's important here to be super realistic reminding yourself that slow and steady is faster and more easeful. You need to ask yourself this question. Can I do this every single day for the rest of my life? Really, I want you to take that question, embed it into your mind, and ask it about all of the things. Can I do this every single day for the rest of my life? If the answer is no, that means whatever this is going to be a short-term change. It's going to be temporary. You are going to do it for a little while before you head back to your old habits and patterns. The answer to this question must be yes. Can I eat this way for the rest of my life? No, it's going to be a temporary change. Can I repeat this elaborate morning routine every morning for the rest of my life? No, it's temporary. Can I declutter for an hour every day the rest of my life? No, of course not. You're going to have busy days. You're going to have days where you don't have an hour to do it. Can I commit to 5 minutes every day? Yes, you've got 5 minutes. And listen, here's the thing about habits. The most important thing is the repetition. In order to create new habits, you need new neural pathways. In order to create new neural pathways, repetition, repetition, repetition. Can you do an hour of decluttering on a day when it works for you and your schedule? Of course. But the habit isn't being created because of how long you're doing it or what it looks like. The habit is that you are doing it consistently. Now, I touched on this last week when I was talking about intentions. I have a daily habit to set an intention. Sometimes I have a luxurious amount of time to spend on my intentions, and some days I spend 10 seconds. But I do it. It's not about how it looks. It's about that I'm doing it. It's about the repetition. Every day I'm showing up. I am relentlessly committed to my future self life. So I show up. You want to make your habits fit around your hardest days, your busiest days, the days you aren't feeling great, the days your hormones are like telling you, don't do anything because everything is stupid and nothing's going to make you feel better. You want to find a habit that you could do even on those days. Can I do 10 seconds of an intention? Sure can, even on those days. And the last thing, when you are in the process of creating new habits, there are some things to remember. First, do it shitty. Point one notch forward is still forward. Second, remember that you will for sure 100% fail on some days. So what? Keep going. And third, hold tight to your why. Let that be something that you connect with regularly. Your why is because you deserve to live a life that feels how you want it to feel. This life is precious. It's short. No time to wait. Do it now. You deserve to not wait until tomorrow or Monday or the next new moon to start becoming your future self, to start aligning with how your future self's days feel. You can literally start right now. Pick a habit, any habit. 1, slow and steady. You can do this. When we talk next week, you will be 1 week further along than you were this week. And obviously remember that this work is even faster, even more easeful, so much more fun when you do it with a friend. Grab your friend, or even better, join me in Calm AF Life. Remember, we've got our spring sale. Use coupon codes SPRINGAF to get 25% off. All right, gorgeous soul, I love you so very much. I will see you next time. If you love this podcast, you will love Calm AF Life. It's a self-paced, lifetime access DIY course that teaches you all the concepts that I talk about here, from nervous system regulation to manifesting with ease. And since we know that true change doesn't happen just because you know what to do, you also get an all-access pass to coaching calls and accountability so you don't stay stuck and you don't give up. The best investment you could ever make is in yourself. Calm AF Life is here for you now. Life's not waiting. Let's get you aligned with your Calm AF self, gorgeous soul. I cannot wait to meet you. Go to KristenFinch.com and join me today.